happens, it doesn't get pinged. I have Discord always muted.
It's probably smart.
Yeah. Like,
Kill it.
I actually do that whole, if I have pings active, I will actually be online. But otherwise, I am either idle or invisible because if my daughter hears my phone go off, she wants to use my phone. I am not okay with that.
Let's see.
But
Yes.
yeah, you haven't seen the new Snug
I
pod
have
yet,
not.
have you?
I have not.
Let me give you this nice little tour. So we have all the same bookshelves, and our desk is still the same. However, the desk is facing a different direction. I turned it around, and the bookshelves are stacked on each other. And so yeah, and we have some blank space on some of the shelves. We can put some stuff in there. I need to get 2 more vampiric windows, so that way we have a whole black thing there, or the whole red, so that way you can see the books. Because if you see and you zoom out, all of those brown books for some reason blend in with the brown of the Snugpod. No idea why that is. It's just how that works. It's a
Yeah.
joke. It's it's brown on brown. It's hard to see. Um, but then we're going into fall, so I figured instead of going crazy spooky this year, let's do some grays. Let's do some mushrooms. Let's stick with our Telvanni theme. So here we are. And then we still have the podium, which I'm going to start changing out what book is sitting on it every periodically, because we have so many books, might as well.
It would be cool if the oh, what's up, Legler? Got a comment on YouTube. Tree show, pre-show. Oh, I think it went away before I could see it all. Welcome to the show. I was gonna say it would be cool if we got for all of these, like meet the characters and things like that we read. If those were put onto a page that we could put on that and then read them from there, that'd be fun. Wouldn't make much sense, really, but still would be fun. Also, this thing in front of the table looks quite a bit like the inside of a Demogorgon mouth.
Oh, you know what that is? That's that thing that we fought in Scrivener's Hall. That's their head bust. And that's why I wanted it there, because that's the dungeon that we did so far together this year, and it's the new fancy one, and at least until we get the endless dungeon. And it just made sense to include our latest fancy trophy in our Snugpod for this year. So
It makes it sound so sad when you say it that way. It's the dungeon we've done this year.
One, not wrong.
The one dungeon we've done all year.
We've done more, but it's like the one fancy special one that we did together so far. And that was a notable fight because we were all kind of dancing around those lava plumes while you were just kind of like standing there tanking, going, I got this! And it's like spewing out lava everywhere. That was one annoying bug.
That is the one thing that makes me want to level this character is I want to try tanking with it. Curious to see how that plays. So I'll probably end up doing the power level thing to get it up there, but go find somewhere to rotate dolmens or get into some random daily normal dungeons to get that big XP buff.
That sounds like a good plan. We could do that. We could do that one of these days. Before or after show, we could start running stuff. Because I'm trying to farm CP levels right now. So we could tag team that.
I wonder how well the... I mean, this could be a discussion we could get into on the show, I guess. But the Endless Dungeon, how well that'll work for farming XP.
I am curious. Yeah, because is that one of those, like, just keep going once a day? They haven't announced that yet, right? That's something that's coming later, because it wasn't in the news. That's in a couple of days, yeah. That's not yet.
Yeah, we haven't heard any more about it other than just when they announced it.
Mm-hmm.
Our viewer says, Tree Show, pre-show dungeon runs? Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, we could probably start doing those. That sounds fun. Okay, the Endless, that's gonna be on September 14th. So we have a while still before we actually get any info on that.
Oh, that's right. They did announce there's some event or something coming up.
The Endless, the
Is that what it was
dungeon that.
specifically? Okay.
Yep, the ESO Live, it'll be September 14th, the Endless Archive.
Okay. Cool. Cool beans. All right. Well, I haven't looked at all the stuff in the notes, but it looks like the majority of it's going to be your little segment. Well, it won't be a little segment. It looks like quite a bit this time. But other than a few links. Okay. Easy enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Are you ready to start?
All right. I am ready.
All right. I will count us down for 4 minutes of silence. Kidding.
5 seconds.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to A Snugpod Cast. I am Never Separate. I am one of your hosts, and with me I have tonight Gwen the Bard. How are you, Gwen?
Hello. I'm here, and so's our little home shell. He is not being the best little organizer, and there are pages currently just kind of spewing all over the floor here.
Yeah. And for those of you keeping track, we probably are going to have the most sane episode we've had in a while because we are lacking our crazy. Crazy couldn't be with us tonight. So wishing, well, how else is he supposed to read them? So wishing her the best. Big day tomorrow, early day tomorrow. So gave her the night off. But anyway, we've got some news to get into, some lore to get into. We've got some more murder hobo goodness for you. So we'll get into that in a bit. But for now, Gwen, what have you been up to?
I have been running around leveling up CP levels on the PlayStation NA server. I honestly missed running around like an overpowered little brat. After starting so many new characters on all these different servers and being like level 7 and level 10 and having just my little flame staff, not even a lightning staff. I like lightning staff. It's tiring, and I was just been enjoying being back with my PlayStation on my home server with my main character, just with everything unlocked again, just doing whatever I want. So I've been running around just leveling up companions and trying to farm CP levels. What have you been up to?
Well, as usual, not a ton, but a little more than normal for me lately. I said in the past I was waiting for Necrom to go on sale because my time to play is not as frequent as it used to be. So anyway, it was on sale. You know, initially they only had the digital collector's bundle or whatever it was on sale, but the standard version was not. So I passed on that, and that paid off because I ended up getting catching the base, not the base, the standard version of the Necrom upgrade on sale. So saved a little money there, and I am currently on. If anyone happens to watch this and is like, "Hey, that doesn't look like the same Never," that's because this is not Nico Dar, it's Nico Joe.
It's Arcana Cat.
It is my Arcanist. I finally have one. And I am sitting at, what level did you say I was? I can't see it at the moment.
I think it said 6.
Yeah.
I am now actually in screenshot mode, yes.
It's 6 or 7. It's pretty low.
It's 6, yep.
So, yeah, it's the little bit that I've gotten to play. The abilities have been pretty cool. I haven't gotten very many of them done yet, but
What do you think of the murder Doritos?
that's one of the first skills you unlock, right?
Yeah.
Murder,
The flying green triangles.
I forgot about the murder Doritos. Yeah, it's pretty fun. So I am trying to level as many skill lines as possible at one time. So actually, I might need you to assist me with a little nibble later for the vampire.
Okay.
And yeah, so our viewer is asking about Murder Doritos. If you have played or seen the Arcanist class, one of their skills, you have the little floaty green triangles around you, and they look like little green Doritos. Well, actually, no, that's not one skill. That's the crux, right?
Yeah. The murder Doritos. You're right. That's the floaty ones. The floaty ones go around. The murder Doritos are the ones that you like fling out. Like if you were like at Gambit, the X-Men, he's throwing cards.
Oh yeah.
You're throwing these little green glowing triangles
Okay.
instead, and they'd kill people. So it's murder Dorito.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna probably try to run Vamp on this too, just for the heck of it. So I might need you to help me with that later. But I went through and unlocked all the different weapon skill lines, and now I've got at least one skill from each one of the skill lines on my bar. Even though I don't only have the one bar right now, just so I can be leveling those. I went ahead and unlocked all 3 armor skill lines, so I can get in and use those passes as they upgrade, and that way I have as much, when I finally do get to CP, I'll have as many of those things maxed, or at least close to max.
Did you get your Mages Guild and Fighter Guild?
I have not done that yet. But that stuff does level even if you don't have the skill line unlocked, I believe.
I don't think so. Not with like Fighters Guild. Mages Guild, the lore books are like retrospective, but with Fighters Guild, you do need to have it in order to kill for when you're killing Daedra and stuff and undead.
Okay. I was thinking that
you can't go find lore books twice. That's the big thing.
Right. I was thinking that the Fighters Guild, like when you run dolmens and things like that, that levels that. I was thinking that I'd gone and gotten that skill line after doing some of that stuff. Either way, I do intend to get those too.
Okay.
But the Mages,
just trying to help you out.
The Mages Guild, I've not been as interested in, and the Fighters Guild I don't use a ton of, but just to have them there if I need them. And also, since you like the lore of the names and your characters and things, I could save this, but since I'm talking about my new character, I guess I'll just throw this in there now. Nico Joe. Joe is actually a Khajiit name that means graceful wizard, physician, scholar. And
that's a lot in one little word.
Yeah. So
sure it's not Maik.
Well, but the I thought that fit with the whole Arcanist, and they tend to be scholars, studying the Hermaeus Mora and all that stuff. I thought that was fitting. So anyway, that's where the name came from.
That's cool. So you did research for your name for this one?
A little. I mean, I have a list that I use from a lore page, and that I've used for my course. I actually have 2 characters I wish I had flipped. I think Nico Dar would have been Nico Do more appropriately, and vice versa on the other, but it's fine. But yeah, I did. I went through and looked. There is a secondary reason for that name that I will not share on the air.
Okay.
That you may already know, and if you don't, I'll tell you later.
I could probably infer if I put in some thought.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I have been in game just a little bit, not a ton. I've also been trying to level crafting. I haven't spent a lot of time doing a lot of crafting, but doing research. When I log on, I try to get something going at least so that I can go ahead and get those things done. And just in case, in the slim possibility, I decide that I like this class enough to switch and start maining on this class, I can start. I can have some of that stuff done a little bit faster than my previous, because my goodness, I've got all those scrolls we get from the monthly logins, so that'll help. But that is such a grind to level those skills without those things, or to get the research done. I mean, you end up with 30 days to finish one thing. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, that's what I've been up to. That's been about it.
Speaking of Crazy did leave us some notes to tell us what she's been up to in game.
Indeed.
It says, did a Tavern Talk for Lore Seeker episode. Just did the 15 Telvar Endeavor in Imperial City and got ganked a bunch. I'm working too much and weird hours. By the time you finish the show, I might actually be getting up for work. LOL. That is the note we have been left.
Yep, I do not envy the hours that she must work, because I am not that much of a morning person. Getting kids up ready for school is enough for me.
I'm sure. All right, we have news.
We do.
We have news. There is news, especially because we didn't have a show last week, did we? No, you did.
No,
you? Yes.
We didn't do a show last week.
We did not.
No, we ended up skipping. So, welcome back. Yep. Got some news on update 39.
I'll let you have that one. I want to read Stippins.
Okay. Update 39 to base game patch is now live on PC and Mac. It's not live on consoles yet. That'll be coming to Xbox and PlayStation September 5th. But it says it introduces a series of long-awaited improvements and additions to ESO, completely free for all existing players. So this isn't something that comes with new content in terms of new places to explore or anything like that. But it's got your normal your bug fixes and some quality of life things. It's got just a couple things like quest and content improvements for new players. So some of the I think they call that onboarding. I believe they've simplified the way that quests are presented to you in the early game, so you're not just overwhelmed with everybody coming and shouting at you to do their fetch quests and
how long I've been looking for you.
exactly. So I don't know how that actually looks in terms of I haven't gone through and experienced that myself, but it says if you're a new player feeling overwhelmed when first entering Tamriel, you can enjoy a series of changes that reduces the volume and frequency of quests offered to your low-level characters. So quests from NPCs for the main story, Fighters Guild, Mages Guild, Battlegrounds, Undaunted, and others. Instead, those are now delivered more gradually as you level up, helping your journey stay a bit more manageable. So that'll be nice, because you can fill up your quest log super quick, and you can only have 25 at a time. And you can easily fill that up in one zone, I believe, and it's a lot to try to keep up with, and it can get a bit overwhelming at times. They've got item set sourcing standardization, stacking of similar inventory items. There's some new PvP additions and new rewards. We'll go back to the inventory management improvements. Even any items that come from separate sources, like your tri-stat, your tri-restoration potions, can now all be stacked together using the stack all items options. And it'll show you which items in your inventory can and can't be sold. We're now going to have the ability to place furnishing items in your home directly from your inventory or your collectibles user in UI. So a lot of little small things, but it's always nice that they're constantly doing little quality of life improvements just to make the game
that next part there, that's not a small thing.
Did I skip? Which?
Preview Crown Store furnishings.
Are you looking at the image at the top there?
Oh no! Oh, I scrolled down. I've been following through the article as you've been pointing out the highlights.
Where did I must have just
Under
skimmed
home,
to. Oh, I
under
got
home
you.
editor
I got you.
improvements.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep. In addition, you can preview Crown Store furnishings in your home before you buy. Yeah, oh yeah, that is nice.
Remember that time when we were like looking at the Star Bridge and you weren't sure how it would actually fit in the space?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This would be great for stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and so some of these statues that you look at it and you're like, well, how big is that thing? Is that going to actually fit where I'm thinking I want it? Because I don't want to go drop, 5,000 crowns on a statue and then go, oh, well, the head of the statue is sticking outside of the building I've got in it, and I can't even see it. So, yeah, that is nice. Definitely, if you're a housing mancer, then that'll be something that'll be very appreciated. And even if you just kind of dabble casually, that's a nice thing. If you're picking up stuff from the Crown Store, definitely take advantage of that first, so you can get an idea of how things are going to look.
Yeah, because except for the specialty items, a lot of the Crown Store furnishings are also in-game furnishings. So anything that you could buy from like a guild trader or something might also be in the Crown Store. So you could see how that looks in your space before you even go drop a bunch of gold on something.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, true. Very true. Yeah. So the end of the article, toward the end of the article, it just says, as a base game update, your version of ESO automatically updates, and that's to run ESO. Machine needs to meet the game's requirements. Yeah, it's all standard stuff there. But it is a free update, so it's not anything you have to go and purchase. This is just basically a quality of life update that everybody gets, regardless of what version of the game you have, even if it's just the base game alone. So.
And these are just the highlights. There's also a whole giant fancy page full of patch notes that go down to all the little fancy detail things.
Yep. Yeah. More details on what bugs were fixed and things like that. So.
Which other people get into, but we will not get into, because then you will be dealing with us for 3 hours.
You'll be going, oh my goodness, does he ever shut up? No, don't.
Or why is she complaining about vampires being nerfed again?
Are they nerfing vampires again? Oh.
No, they're not, but there is a delay. There is now a delay when you go into mist form with your character movement, which apparently was supposed to always be there. That wasn't there, and that's kind of sad. But you know what? At least we still have mist form. That's all that matters.
Well, thank you. Legler says, I always say that like it's a bad thing to do enjoy the ramble, so we appreciate that. But we just try not to ramble too much. We can get a little carried away sometimes. Yeah, the mist form thing was one that, that's what people used to use as tanks, right? To just completely negate the big one-hit attacks.
I believe you. I just used it to run sneaking around Cyrodiil. Yeah. It was just for my super sneaky character. That's all.
All right, cool. Well, what else we got? We got, I guess for update 39, there's some community guides too. You want to cover any of those? Do you have any of those that stood out to you?
I haven't actually watched any of these. They just look like they're all from pretty much the same sources. It's a bunch of different builds. You know how we said we weren't going to be getting into all of the little fancy bits? All these guides are what get little fancy bits, and with recommendations if your build is being changed.
I actually forgot about this, and I probably just skimmed over that image too quick, but they did make some pretty significant changes to some of the weapons. So I remember reading some of that.
Supposedly bows are great now. I'm not one who uses bows, so I don't know. But
crazy will like that. I don't use bows much.
If it's something you're interested in, some of these guides are the people who like actually reading and looking at the updates to make sure you are getting the best build.
Yeah, and understand the numbers better than we do too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the math, the way that some of these people can understand the math that goes into, oh, well, actually, you're better off to run this skill with this armor set and things because you get 1.7% more DPS. I don't even know how they calculate that stuff, but that's what they're good at. They understand that stuff. You've got Jake Clips and Hack the Minotaur, Skinny Cheeks. A lot of the ones you're familiar with, and then there's some others in here that are not names that I've seen as much myself, but I'm sure those of you that frequent YouTube guides and things like that for some of this stuff probably have seen before. So yeah, definitely go check that out. We'll have that page linked as well as the one that we read just a few minutes ago. We'll have those linked in our show notes too. So once this goes live in audio, then you can go check that out and read over that stuff and watch those videos, and you can get all that info there. And shout out to those guys that put that stuff together. All right. Do you have lore?
We have lore. Okay, first we have a letter, and then we have lore. I mean, the lore is the letter, I guess. We're counting the letter as lore, which technically it can be lore because it is an actual letter. But well. Anyway, let's read things. We have a Meet the Character this week, and it is about Stibbins, which, if you haven't met Stibbins yet, and this is news to you, you're new, right? I don't mean that in any mean way possible, but Stibbins is everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And if you have not met Stibbins, and I'm about to read through this, hopefully this will give us a good sense of who Stibbins is. Alright. Oh, it's to Lady Arabelle. My dear Lady Arabelle, you ask an interesting question. Do I recommend a manservant to assist you in the everyday tasks that require the attention of noblewomen such as ourselves? I find that no simple answer springs quickly to mind. Now having a manservant to catalog and care for my clothing, jewelry, and personal accessories is imperative, as is a help provided in dressing and styling my hair. Not to mention packing and unpacking for travel, preparing meals and serving tea, but if you wind up with the wrong manservant, every day can feel like riding to oblivion in an ox cart. Let me tell you about the trials and tribulations of my faithful manservant, Stibbins. Don't get me wrong, Stibbins is as loyal as a dark elf's Nix hound, but he nevertheless drives me absolutely to thoughts of violence on frequent occasions. For example, he can be lazy, inattentive without consistent supervision, he drinks too much, he has an unnatural fondness for your precious investigator Vale fables, and he tends to be underfoot, like a sad little puppy. As you know, my work takes me to many exotic locations and finds me in numerous adventures. I'm sure you've read about them. As much as I appreciate his efforts to assist me, more often than not he blunders into something that I must then extract him from. Should I list some cases in point, for completeness' sake? I think I must. Whether helping me explore an ancient ruin, study a Daedric relic, or locate a lost treasure, Stibbins inevitably, accidentally, breaks something, activates a curse, or sets off a trap. I suppose better him than me, but I do wish he would be more careful. Stibbins has been possessed by a ghost, turned into a goblin, captured by a somewhat pretty Daedra, frozen in a block of ice, trapped in an Argonian egg, and multiplied into numerous copies of himself. And I won't even mention the time he misread a scroll and got entangled in a spider's web. I spend as much golden time getting him out of trouble as he spends getting into it. Still, don't spread this around, but I'd be lost without him. Stibbins knows exactly how to press my garments and brush my hair. He brews an excellent pot of tea and cooks up a wonderful fish stew. He also knows exactly where everything I need is located and can retrieve it for me relatively quickly when I call for it. He keeps all my research in order, which makes writing my reports and travel logs much easier to compose than you would think. Not that you know anything about getting ink stains out of satin. Wink, wink. There is one other thing. I have almost decided not to mention. I have come to care for Stibbins in my own way. I suppose you could say I've gotten used to having him around. Faults and all. Maybe it's because I know he needs me as much as I rely on him, or perhaps it's his most excellent foot rubs. They certainly do the trick after a long day of trekking through ancient Dwemer cities and whatnot. If you say a word of this to Stibbins, I will deny it quite strenuously. And then I may be forced to mention that incident you told me about between you and Yoren and the Skald King, or was it Rigget the Brash? Nords, who can tell them apart? So, after all that, I suppose I would recommend you find yourself a good manservant. Perhaps if you seek one with qualities exactly the opposite of what I just described, you'll be much happier. As for your other question, certainly not. Stibbins' contract is not for sale. Do not even jest about such a thing. Most sincerely, Lady Clarice Lorette. So hopefully that gives you an idea of Stibbins.
I love the next line of this. He says, if there's hardship to be had in Tamriel, Stibbins has suffered it in his loyal service to his lady. Yeah.
What is your favorite encounter with Stibbins?
I don't think I've seen all of them, but there's one where I think towards the end of it, I believe he gets turned into something. I don't want to be careful not to say too much and give anything away. I think it was Argonian. I think it was Argonian related.
Okay.
And then one of the other encounters involved both of them, and just laughing at what happened afterwards, but between the two of them, thinking, yeah, some of the stuff she said in that article there, yeah, you definitely can read between the lines and figure out she definitely cares for him a little more than she lets on. So, yeah, he's definitely a comic relief type character.
Stibbins is great.
Has he been in the game since base game?
He has. Okay. You originally run into them in the Daggerfall Covenant.
Okay, so I haven't gone all the way through that, so.
I don't know which zone it is. I think it's like I think you actually run into them throughout the Daggerfall Covenant, because I do remember running into them early on and then later on. So, but they're around quite a bit. They're a good set of repeat characters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like the ones when they add in the ones that repeat in chapters and you can follow their adventures.
Yeah. So
anyway,
yeah.
Because we're talking about Stibbins, I figured that would be. I have one thing for Murder Hobos that has been sitting on the shelf that we will eventually get to. I have been wanting to talk about for like a month now, and we will get to it. But for some reason, we keep getting all these really good prompts in the news that end up pulling us into a different topic. So, because of Stibbins, we will be talking about companions for No More Murder Hobos this week. No More Murder Hobos, Companion Edition. We've been traveling with companions for a while now, so what do we know about them? Tonight's example is everyone's favorite dumpster fire, aka Ember, aka Best Cat. Well, besides Never.
Thanks.
We know she hates wolves, finds comfort in the seedier side of Nirn, and enjoys card games, as well as not getting caught. So let's look at what you know about your traveling companions and answer these questions. Think of your favorite companion, whoever you're traveling with, and see how they would respond in these scenarios. Question 1. How would your companion respond to helping Quen with her heist, in reference to the starter quest of the Thieves Guild? Question 2. Once in Artaeum, how would they act? Do they go to the archives? Do they find Metamarco's old lab? Try magic dueling over in the arena? Or seek out Sothasil's workshop? Question 3. What does your companion do in their downtime? Do you see them crafting, shopping, dancing at the local inn? Question 4. Why is your companion's mount what it is? Did they befriend it? Do they hate dogs and have to have a cinch mount? Like, probably with Ember, wouldn't make much sense to have her on a wolf. If she is on a wolf, why is she riding a wolf? Is it a summoned mount, using some special scroll or spell that's learned? This is in reference to explaining some of the fancier Crown Store mounts. What did that look like? Was it a quest to save up some special currency to get it? Was it gifted to them? Did you gift it to them? Was it a parting gift from their mentor or a boon from a Daedric patron? Question 5. Why does your companion use the weapons that they do? Example, does Ember use a staff to help channel other elements? Or does she run around with daggers because she was a street kid and uses them to back up her magicka? Now, just like Stibbons, the faithful companion of Lady Laurent, do your companions know you after traveling together? Some examples. Does Isabel not offer you sweets anymore, but instead tosses you an apple, if you're not a fan of sweets? Does Bastion run away from you when you chase him around with cheese and you give him a hard time? Have you learned how to appreciate tea after adventuring with Azadar, or does he hand you another beverage instead because he's given up on trying to convert you? Would your character squirm at digging up bugs for bait? Does Sharp find this funny? Does he help you pick flowers for potion making? To conclude, for Operation and Murder Hobos tonight, look at different ways that you would interact with your companions after traveling with them for a while. We have our stories, we go through everything with them, but there's only so much content we can have with these characters that we travel around with all the time. As you run into different scenarios in game, do you think there's different ways that they would react besides their repetitive dialogue that you hear all the time? Think on it.
So, Legler in the chat on YouTube says we should answer the list as you go through the questions. We're now lost on the list. We won't go through and answer all of these. Each one of those questions is basically kind of a discussion.
Well, let's go through with Ember, okay? Because
right.
We said we were going to use Ember as the example.
Right.
So let's go through and let's answer this for Ember. We'll start with question 1. She would definitely help Quen with her heist. Ember is all for the seedier side of Tamriel. She's good with stealing. She hates getting caught. She would be all for helping out Quen.
So long as it doesn't involve hurting people.
Exactly. Once in Artaeum, however, she would definitely not go towards the archives or Sothasill's workshop. She hates books. That's her big thing. She's a hands-on person. So she might go try to kill some stuff over in Manny Marco's lab, or probably definitely dueling over at the arena. Seeing all the different crazy magic that the other people there are doing and trying to just do some of it hands-on herself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see Ember in an arena just, having fun, bouncing around, throwing spells at people.
Exactly. So her downtime, what do we see her doing? Not fishing. Ember would not be fishing in her downtime. She doesn't seem like one to read books either.
Hunting wolves.
Downtime. Hunting is an active time. Maybe if you do get rapport from her from winning games of Tales of Tribute, maybe she would be playing Tales of Tribute. Maybe she would be playing card games. Yeah,
that would work. She does take a particular interest in runestones.
She does.
So,
maybe she's. Yeah.
So she might want to, she might not like books, but maybe she'd want to play around with enchanting things, practicing that.
It's true. I could see her doing that too. So what do you... Okay, do you have Ember unlocked?
I do. Not
You
on this
do?
character, but on...
What do you have set as her mount?
I think it's one of the Quasigriffs.
Why?
Because my character is on the other one. And just, they're two cats riding around on the same kind of mount.
That makes sense. I actually also have her, despite as many cinch mounts and stuff that I do have, I have her on the black Quasigriff, the black purple one.
I think I have her on the black one because I think I'm on the gold one.
That makes sense. I didn't get the gold one, it's not really my color scheme, but the black and purple, to me, I chose it because I think it matches kind of the whole lightning shadow cat color scheme thing she has going on, and it's not a wolf mount, and it's not a guar. I normally like guar mounts, but I didn't think that would fit for Ember, so I ended up going with the one that looked kind of like a summoned mount that matches her color scheme.
I had a ridiculous thought of maybe one of the most ironic pairings that you could have if you were a Red Guard Necromancer riding around with Ember on a wolf.
Of course you would. So what weapons do you have Ember using?
I have her using a bow, actually. And for practical reasons, just because I looked up fun builds and found one for like the magical archer or whatever. But wanted to keep her ranged. But I thought something other than just a staff. I thought magical bow and arrow would be kind of fun. Raining lightning bolts down from arrows from the sky instead of from a staff.
Yeah.
I got a question. Do they have an orc companion? If not, it would be cool to see one. There's not an orc companion yet, right?
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
But sounds like the companion system that will be something that continues. So
I'm
interested.
Oh yeah, I imagine
we
an orc will be coming soon.
Yeah, we haven't had any repeats yet.
Have we not?
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Bastion's Imperial, right?
Yep. Isabel's Breton.
Breton. Okay.
And Azendar's Redguard. So yeah, the only ones I'd question the repeat on would be Bastion and Isabel. But,
yeah. So I was trying to think. We've got Ember. So we got the Khajiit, Sharps, and Argonian. There's not a Nord yet, right?
No.
The Nord, Orc. Do we have any Elf companions?
We don't have a Nord, Orc, High Elf, or Bosmer.
We do have a Dark Elf, Miri. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I would imagine within we get 2 companions per chapter, right? That's how that's done so far. So
that's been the pattern so far. They could change it, but that's been the pattern so far.
Yeah. So if they stick to that, depending on what order they do them in, we could still be a couple years away from getting an orc, I guess. But we'll see. I'm sure that we will see them eventually. But just given the current rate at which they've done them, if they continue with that pace, then we won't see any more companions until next year's chapter.
Yep.
But they might sneak another one in on us. They don't have to do them with each chapter. They could do them with they could stick a new companion.
They'll totally just keep coming out during chapters.
Yeah, they could stick one in a zone we already have, and it's a new quest to get you back into an existing zone. So.
That's true. That would be a good thing to add for base game for new players.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That's the wall of crazy. We said we weren't even going to do crazy tonight.
Well, I guess we had to make up for her not being here. So, but yeah, you're right. That would be just as far as I didn't think about it from the DLC zone perspective. They've all been tied to DLC, but they definitely could make a base game companion. But we'll see. Who knows? But orcs will come for sure. Crazy finds a way. Yep, that's true. Her presence is known even when she's not here, as are all of them. Gwen even joins us from not even inside the Snugpod sometimes. So.
Psijic magic is awesome.
Psijic magic, yep. Yeah. What about you? What is your Ember wielding blades? Or?
Oh, she totally just uses a lightning staff. Okay. There's no reason for her to be on a lightning staff or like min-maxing or balancing between her and me, but when I'm comfortable with my playstyle, so just having Ember along, it's just like, all right, let's go mess some stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go do this and find out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just two crazy lightning staff running around wielding Magicka people off to get into some trouble.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so that's just an example, just to go over a couple of those, or to go through those regarding, Amber with us, but not Ember. So yeah, if you have Ember unlocked, or any of the companions for that matter, I'll also recently I've been trying to include all of these prompts in the show notes. So when you go back and check out the audio form, or if you're listening to the audio form now, you can check out the show notes, and you'll have all of these questions, and we'll tell you how to reach us here in a little bit. And if you want to send your answers to those questions into us, then we'll tell you how to do that in a bit. But just kind of a fun thing we've been doing for a while. This is the brainchild of Gwen, and so it's kind of a fun way to really challenge you to think about your characters.
Exactly. And the murder hobos. But another way you can end murder hobos is you can not be a hobo yourself, and you can come join us in a guild. If you are not part of the Lore Seekers, you can join us in Lore Seekers and do some fun things. Now, we play Lore Seekers are everywhere, but we are specifically representing the NA side of the PlayStation Lore Seekers, and we have some events that we do, which is Mondays with Moki. It is fishing or Cyrodiil or other crazy stuff that happens. We've been doing some Bastion Mimics and other stuff. And then there is Treacherous Tuesday Dungeons. Team up. This is kind of more of an informal thing. There is a sign up in the Discord, so that way you can sign up with what role you're looking in, trying to kind of help you guys pair together, put together your own little dungeon groups, and you can decide how hard of a dungeon mode you want to do, help each other get gear. This is the time to set aside and go do that. Of course, you do that whenever, but this is to help those who are interested and need help forming a group. We also have Fearless Friday with Arthuria Dragoon being undaunted. Undaunted. We are undaunted. Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
Gets better every time. Gets better every time.
Indeed. Come join us. Come hang out. As Gwen said, if you're on PC or Xbox, we have guilds there as well. Come hang out with us and in Discord, and come be a part of the Lore Seekers in game. If you want to reach out to us, you want to send us a hello, or send us your answers to the murder hobo prompts, and or any other things. You got questions, things you might want to hear us talk about on the show, or opinions on what we did talk about, any of that kind of stuff. A couple different ways you can reach us. You can get us on Twitter at Snugpodcast. You can email us, and in a couple of years when I'm old enough to understand email, then I will check those. But the email address...
God, is this joke still going on?
Oh, yeah.
Are you just going to keep... Is this not going to die?
It's not going to die until I do. But Because what did I say the age was? 42?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
42 or 12 or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, so I'm getting close. But anyway, the email address is snugpodcast@gmail.com. And if you like what you see or like what you hear, a couple different ways you can get our show. You can catch us live on twitch.tv/snugpodcast and on YouTube just by searching Snug Podcast. You can find us. You can find us through that. Or if you would prefer just to listen to an audio format, then just pick your favorite podcast app and search Snug Podcast. You should find us there. Did you give the link for joining the guild yet? Did I miss that?
Let's see. We do it is eso.loreseekers.club. That will give you the link to join our Discord.
Yeah. So if you've listened to previous episodes and heard us give out the direct link, we don't have that right now. But the one that Gwen just gave is still good, and you can use that to get into our Discord. There is just a little brief application, nothing super formal, just kind of helps us get to know a little bit about you before you join, so we can make sure that you're a good fit and we're a good fit. If you are thinking about joining and you come in and you're like, I'm diehard Trials and I want to speed run everything and I'm super hardcore about the craziest, highest DPS numbers, Lore Seekers might not be the best fit. But it's not to say that it wouldn't work. But you only have 5
You'll
guild
get bored
slots.
with us probably.
Right. So you only have 5 guild slots. Just so we kind of can get a feel for what you're looking for and things like that. Helps us just to maintain sort of a common mindset with the way that the people want to interact with the game.
Important note: you are also welcome to join us in Discord and not in game, because we are a cross-platform guild. We do things cross-platform and in Discord. So it is not always everything in game. If you want to join, if you want to talk about lore, if you want to be social that way, feel free to check us out in Discord. Once again, by going to eso.loreseekers.club. And you can hang out and chat with us that way and still keep your guild slots for your fancy murder trials.
All right. Have you got anything else? That's the end of our notes. Is there anything else you want to add?
I think that's it. If there was anything else, I'm pretty sure this silly tome shell knocked it off the table already.
Well, what do you do?
Eh.
Well, all right then. I guess that's going to wrap it. So, we will be back hopefully next week with all 3 of us. Oh no. Hold on. I got booted.
Yeah. Oh, the Arcanist fell through a portal.
Silly.
This is what you get.
This is what I get.
Non-experienced portal hoppers.
I guess so. And
he's only level 6, everyone. He's only level 6. He's getting used to it. Cut him some slack.
I've been trying to keep my camera moving so that, or my visualizer. I don't know. Anyway, but as I was trying to say before I got booted out of the game and lost my audio there, we will try to be back. Multiverse problems, am I right? Yep, very much so. We will try to be back next week. Hopefully all 3 of us can be here. And until then, do your best to take care of yourself, take care of others, and we will catch you next time.
Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Sleep well, Tamriel.
Oh, God.
That's my best crazy impression.
Done with you.
All right, y'all have a good night. A good week, whatever time of day it is for you. See you later.
Oh, God. Hi.